Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys DC 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today we're taking a look at the Hot Toys exclusive WB100 blue and grey Christian Bale Batman. Now I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new 1/6 scale figure review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, it does the job. It makes this feel like it's a special figure. We've got this glossy bat symbol in the middle. We also have these cracked kind of like mirror or glass shards with some bats in certain panels, as well as this almost metallic shiny blue and gold for Batman's name down below. Whereas on the side of the box, it is mostly grey, just with some black logos and lettering done in high gloss. WB100, the Dark Knight trilogy, and his name. Around the back, warnings and legal information, and this sick-looking bat symbol with Gotham City on the inside of it, a blue TV scanline overlay, and it's done in high gloss. I'm only just now noticing that this isn't only a black high-gloss bat symbol. It's subtly translucent, it's tinted clear plastic, so you can get a little bit of a sneak preview as to what's underneath. In person, not so much on camera. And what is underneath is a massive open window showcasing Batman, the bats, his accessories, and that bat signal thing. They are really trying their hardest to make this thing look good. I am reserving judgment until we open the box, but right now I'm not super excited to see what this guy looks like. On the back here, though, he does look pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. We've got this blue overlay, the TV scanline effect, this shadowy look to Gotham City, as well as an image of Christian Bale in this new blue and grey colour scheme off to one side, with these bats swarming him. The whole idea for this figure is it's meant to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of Warner Brothers. That's why it's the WB100 Batman. I personally would have preferred if they'd taken this exact colour scheme and used it for Batfleck, because his suit is way more comic book looking than the Dark Knight trilogy outfit. Still, first in-hand impressions, this guy is really interesting. There's something about him that's just drawing me in, and I guess we'll have to explore that throughout the course of the video. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, which is a little bit of old and a little bit of new. It feels very cheap, but it looks kind of cool, so I think it gets away with it. Up top, we've got this bat symbol that's cracked looking, there's speckling of dirt and grime on the surface. It is, however, reuse from Bane from back in the day. It's just made of this very thin, lightweight plastic, and there's no bottom to it, so it will deform if you don't have it placed on a flat surface. You can also see directly through it. There's a step around the front, plus just Batman for the nameplate. We have this clear pole with the crotch grabber on the front part of the bracket. Then for the back one, another clear pole, but this one is meant to hold the two swarms of bats and the pancake bat signal. The bats are reused from Morbius, so even these aren't new. They are painted differently as compared to Morbius though. This time, they're black with some light speckling of grey on the surface. Their eyes still are completely unpainted. We do have two different swarms. They're on these clear arms, which are adjustable at the base and also in the middle. Then for the bat signal, it looks okay from the front. From the side, the illusion doesn't work as well. You've got this massive bat logo in the middle, and then this image that is just printed on cardboard. The outer edge is sculpted plastic, and there's even some dirt and grime speckled on it to make it look a bit more weathered. All of the rest of the stuff we have seen so many times before, including this sticky bomb gun, which is collapsible. You can actuate the front piece to make it look like he's getting ready to fire it. There are some little translucent red lenses, and when you do collapse it up, you can store this on his belt if you so choose. We will try this out a little bit later in the video. So most countries are now cracking down on the button cell battery thing. That means Hot Toys did have to modify the design of the EMP blaster, and now there's a massive ugly screw on the outside. If only they'd had the sliding panel like they did previously, but then popped a bracket inside and then the screw. That way when you put the cover back on, you didn't have to see the massive ugly Phillips head screw. All of the detail though is still the same as all of the other times we've received this EMP blaster. You can move the front portion back, and you can flick the switch illuminating only the top EMP coils. Some people have sent me reference showing that in the movie only the top ones lit up. Still, I think the intention with the design of this was that all of them would light up. The mold for the grappling gun we've received with almost every single Bale Batman figure except for the 2.0 Batman Begins, which is just strange considering that's the first movie where he starts to use this thing. It's an iconic accessory. They have painted it in a much shinier, brighter gold than usual, and you get the little bracket piece so you can install it onto his belt. The top part is spring-loaded. You can remove both hooks, which are made of quite thin plastic, so do be careful with them. And bottom piece, the cartridge, can be removed, however they haven't painted the little grill piece on the inside. While I do like the shinier gold they've gone with for his accessories, like the 3 batarangs, the grappling gun, and the hook piece, I still would have liked for these to have been made out of metal. There's something about having those slightly heavy, cold to the touch, and prickly batarangs made out of metal rather than plastic that just does it for me. These, they're fine, but they don't feel quite as good as some of the old batarangs we got with previous Dark Knight Batman figures. It's a bit strange that we have 2 activated mines, rather than one deactivated and one that's been turned on. You'd think they'd give us one of each, rather than just 2 of the same. He does come with 4 wildly different mouth plates. I have my favourite, and we will discuss which one that is a little bit later. The detail, though, is outstanding on all 4. And lastly, not quite all of the hands that you got with the DX19, just the essentials. You get these trigger finger relaxed open palm hands of sorts. The detail is quite sharp, including the little dots on the palms that are supposed to be those electrical charge bits that activate his gliding cape in the movie. They are painted in this metallic blue, but I am worried because they are flexible that the blue might crack over time, so do be careful when you are wedging things into his hands. But it might be fine. I assume Hot Toys did some R&D on trying to get metallic, pearlescent, almost sparkly paint to be more durable. We get 1 open palm hand for the left side, and 1 batarang holding hand for the right. Then, lastly, 2 closed fists, 1 for either side. What we are going to do now, though, is get Batman himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses, or accessories, or anything like that. When I first saw this guy, my immediate thought was, why? Why are they doing this? They're taking a classic look for Batman, and they're bastardizing it. They're going for a comic book look, yet it's not accurate to any comics I've ever seen. They haven't given him the trunks, they've also put the blue in some very weird places, and I just wasn't here for it. I was not excited to get this guy at all. But, as it turns out, now that I have him in hand, I have to apologize. This guy somehow is winning me over. He's not perfect, and I still find certain things a bit strange. At the same time, it also works for me. The metallic blue is stunning. The grey for the armor is something different, and it introduces a ton of contrast. Then we get to the cape, which surprisingly is one of Hot Toys' best capes ever. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Batman's very blue cowl. The sculpt is the exact same as the DX19, so any of the features that one had, this one also has. It's on a magnet and a separately articulated neck for maximum range of motion. We have the multiple interchangeable mouth plates, which we will try out, and the moving eyes, which we are about to get back to. But this time the cowl is done in this very shiny, very saturated metallic blue. And they've hit it with a clear coat over the top, so it practically gleams as the light bounces off the surface. Unfortunately though, because it is based off the DX19 cowl, It's not quite as accurate as, say, the OT Customs cowl and neck combo. The nose and the neck are both slightly too long, which does throw off the proportions of the cowl itself. Not enough to ruin it for me, just something to be aware of. Now, for the moving eyes, I am curious to find out what he looks like if we angle the eyes all the way up, kind of giving him that white eye lens look, like he had in the comics. So, yeah, I like this guy even more now. Having the white eyes, it just sells it to me. This is a comic-based color scheme. Why shouldn't he have the white eyes like he does traditionally? Now, the mouth plate does look like Christian Bale. It's the exact same one that we got with the DX19. So, great level of skin texture, and the paint applications are super realistic. I have brought the eyes back just because I want to show you how versatile they are. I'm going to be going with the whited out eyes. If you do want to have them looking off to the side, up, down, wherever, then that's totally your prerogative. Go for it. This mouth plate is Batman mid-sentence. With a subtle head tilt, I think this might be my favorite mouth plate of the bunch. The Christian Bale likeness is strong, and the detail with the teeth actually on a separate plane inset inside the mouth plate itself does sell that realism. Unlike, I think, this mouth plate. We've gone from my favorite to my least favorite. I call this the duck lips faceplate. It doesn't even want to sit all the way inside the cowl properly. It's got this sticky outy edge which makes it, I reckon, look terrible. I also have his eyes looking up now, so I've tried to make him look more menacing and disguise the fact that he's making this goofy ass expression. This mouth plate, now we're back to another high. The angry expression, the teeth being exposed, and you can make out each individual tooth them being glossy, the skin texture still on point, now the eyes looking up with the cowl forward. Dude looks mean as hell, so I'm going to interchange in my display, now that I know for sure he's going to make it into that display, between this mouth plate and the mid-sentence one. Okay, very quickly, I have removed the cape because some people struggle to install it on the DX19, and I didn't show you how to do it in that video, so I thought I may as well show you how to do it here. The first thing you want to do is make sure this flap is facing the inside of his back rather than having it on the outside, because that would look absolutely ridiculous. Then you want to grab the little plastic clip pieces, wedge the fabric into the slots in his armor, then push them down and lock them in position. The same thing can be said for the other side. Wedge it in first, push it down, it'll sit flush, and now his cape is installed. And it's not just any old cape either. I think this is one of Hot Toys' best capes ever. There's a lot of fabric, it's scalloped along the bottom, but it's made of this single ply, really lightweight fabric. It's got this textured weave on the surface, and it hangs so freaking naturally. When you install it, it also bulks him out at the traps, so it helps not make his neck look as long as it does without the cape on. Underneath the cape, we have his very shiny gold utility belt, which we'll discuss in just a second. His black mesh undersuit, and all of the matte grey armor, with the big bulky plates around the back that you'd never normally really see because they're hidden under his cape. Now you can see there's this little clip on the belt. That's for the grappling gun. You can push it on there. It's quite a loose fit, so as long as you're not bumping it around while posing him, it should sit there. If you do, it might just go flying. If you don't want to use this middle hook section, you can take this gold bracket piece and clip it over the top of the belt lip. Then you can have the grappling gun dangling down. You could foreseeably have it dangling down the front if you wanted to, but the instructions do specifically mention it's supposed to be hooked around the back rather than the front. There are magnets on the edges of the belt, these blank sections on the underside, and there are magnets inside his sticky bomb gun, so you can holster them around the back. You can't really fit the grappling gun as well. You might be able to finagle it and wrangle it in there. It's more so meant to be one or the other, in my opinion. From the front, even though those pieces are quite bulky, because the cape does cast a shadow underneath his arms, I don't think they're all that noticeable. So if you did want to leave them there, you're not ruining Batman's silhouette. The DX19 is one of my all-time favorite Hot Toys Batman figures. Not just because the proportions are quite real and because I love the suit, although both of those things are true, but because of the advancements they made in the technology they used to make the suit. Instead of having all of these armor plates just sort of glued onto the fabric bodysuit, they are fused together, almost welded, so they act as though they're one piece. When you go to bend the legs or crunch the ab section forward, they do buckle and move around, but naturally, rather than peeling off or jutting out and looking all kinds of nasty. We've also retained all of the best parts of the Dark Knight suit. You've got the raised bat symbol, this time done in high gloss black, so it stands out even more so than the just straight black suit, and all of the carbon fiber details. On the bicep guards, also on the pecs, on the ab section, and down the sides of his body too. Having the black poke through this more matte finish for the grey, and then it being a different sheen to the glossy carbon fiber sections, it all just comes together and works for me when, I've said this before, I'll say it one more time, initially I didn't think it was going to. I would have liked to have seen though some blue for the underoos section. If they're going for a straight up comic book look, that's something I think they should have added over the top of the suit, maybe as a separate piece of fabric for some trunks, or simply painted these armor plates. Speaking of painting armor plates, the gauntlets, they're done in the same shiny rich metallic blue as the cowl. Unfortunately, the hands do still have the straps or tabs that sit over the top of the gauntlets, rather than the upcoming Batman figure that has the gloves tucked into the gauntlets, which is what I personally prefer. The belt is the same sculpt as DX19 with all of the little canisters and pouches, but it's so much shinier. It's no longer that dark, muted gold color. It's proper, bright, almost chrome-looking metallic gold. Coming down to his legs, you have the matte grey armor plating all the way round, and the black bodysuit poking through the crevices to add some contrast. The bodysuit being straight fabric is going to be great for posing. You can leave his arms bent and not have to worry at all about damaging that undersuit. You do still have to worry about this rubbery piece sticking out at the elbow though, which we'll discuss later on. Got some carbon fiber detailing on his knee pads, and the metallic shiny blue boots. There's some wrinkling sculpted in, some texture detail down the side and for the soles, plus the bat summoners in the heels. But they're not painted, well, they are painted blue, but not black, and they're not removable. They're just there for show. If you're wondering if you can use the DX19 Bruce Wayne head sculpt on this body, of course you can. This is a DX19, just painted differently. The only issue is, it doesn't come with a metallic blue painted rubbery neck gasket piece to make the blend between Bruce Wayne's neck and the suit a touch more believable. So his neck does come across maybe a bit long. There's something about this new belt, how bright and shiny it is, even though it's not movie accurate at all. I'm curious to try out the new belt on the DX19. Okay, so this belt, it just isn't right. It's too bright, it's way too shiny. So then why is it working? Why do I like the way this looks? It's not how it appeared in the film, and I don't even care. Because of how metallic it is, it just brings an entirely different element to the very matte suit of the standard DX19. So I am tempted to display him like this. Weigh in the comments down below. What do you think about this belt and DX19 combo? For a quick side-by-side comparison, on the left, the almost comic-inspired blue and grey costume Christian Bale Batman, and on the right, the straight, all-black, movie-accurate DX19. Mine, though, does have a custom cowl and neck piece by OT Customs. Everything else is stock, including the cape. They're the same height, they're the same mold. For me personally, I still have to go with DX19. It's movie accurate and it fits the vibe of Bale's Batman better. Even though the blue and grey is starting to win me over. Going over articulation, I'm expecting this to be exactly the same as the DX19. Starting off with the head sculpt, it's on a magnet, and then the neck is on a ball joint. So combined, looking forward to there, looking up to there, more than enough range for a bat pod riding pose, swivel, and tons of pivot side to side. The shoulder pads are pretty flexible, so they should get out of your way. The arms will go up to there, going forward and back on soft ratchets, butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down, swivel at the bicep underneath the armor plating, double bend at the elbow going past 90, and then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. The torso is fully armored, and there's that mesh undersuit, so going forward is pretty restricted to there, going back to there, swivel, and pivot side to side. The legs have always been a challenge with this style of batsuit. Going forward to there as everything is bunching and really fighting me, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Ratcheted double bend at the knee going just past 90, and a split cut boot design with a double ball peg for the ankles. Good for forward and back, swivel, as well as ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is, even though this guy is brand new, he isn't using the latest molds for this suit by Hot Toys. There is a new version of the Dark Knight suit coming out branded as a Dark Knight Rises figure. This guy was announced after that, but he's using the old parts from the DX19. The second annoying thing is the assembly process for this whole bat signal, bat swarm diorama display base thing is very involved. You have multiple poles, you've got a crotch grabber, you've got the little brackets, the clip piece that goes onto the bat signal. It's going to take you a while, and because there are so many clear plastic pieces, I don't think it looks all that good. The third annoying thing is, still to this day, they have not figured out how to fix these little elbow pad things sticking out when you bend his arms. I know this bothers Dean Knight, and it bothers me as well. In the dynamic pose, having these pieces constantly sticking out, it's just an eyesore. The first cool thing is, just bear with me on this one, the color scheme is starting to grow on me. This almost matte look to the grey armor contrasting against the black bat symbol, the really vibrant metallic shiny gold utility belt, and of course that deep, rich, almost car paint looking blue for the gauntlets, the gloves, the boots, and the cowl. It all comes together when initially I really didn't think it was going to. The second cool thing is, even though we're not getting all of the accessories that come with the other Christian Bale Batman figures, we are getting the most iconic ones. The EMP gun, the sticky bomb gun, his grapnel launcher, which is done in that much more vibrant metallic finish just like his belt. Same thing for the batarangs, we also get those mini activated mines. The third cool thing, while Hot Toys do struggle all the time with capes, no question, they do, they haven't this time. The material choice here is perfect. While I don't think the color match is as bang on as I would have liked between the cape, the cowl, and all the rest of the blue stuff, the material, it just drapes flawlessly. Wrapping up on the WB100 Hot Toys exclusive blue and grey Christian Bale Dark Knight suit DX19 repaint. Okay, so my thoughts on this have changed throughout the course of the video. When I first started this video, I thought, I'm not going to like this, it's terrible. But it turns out I do like it. Something about this guy, I don't know what it is, I can't quite put my finger on it, whether it's the color scheme or just the comic book vibe, works for me. Yes, it's a very busy costume. In figure format, Hot Toys have delivered the goods here. And the best part is, it's not taking up a spot in the regular Hot Toys lineup. This is an exclusive. Yes, I do think they should have gone with Ben Affleck's suit and painted that in blue and grey. That would have been my perfect WB100 Batman. I'm not going to complain though. What we have here is something unique, something that's going to stand out, and something that's going to catch people's eye when they enter the room. In person, he hits different compared to how he comes across on camera. You might still not be convinced, and that's okay. He's not for you. He's not going to be for everyone. He's not going to be folks' default Batman. I think that goes to the DX19 or the upcoming new version of the Armory. This is just a really nice Elseworlds Batman that can go in another spot in the collection. Maybe even with the Titans figures by So-So Toys, that might be a good spot for him. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles, As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.